Hello, welcome back. Today we go back in time. Far back. We go to Mexico. The year is 1300. There are no phones, no internet, no coffee shops. But there is an empire, a big strong empire, and its name is the Aztec Empire. You probably know this name, maybe from a movie, maybe from a game. Maybe your teacher said it once and you thought, okay, cool, but also a little scary. You were right. The Aztecs were amazing, they were strong, they made beautiful things, they were very smart. They also did some very wild things, but we will talk about that later. Today we look at three things. First, who were the Aztecs? Second, what does the word Aztec actually mean? And third, the full story of what happened to them. From a small lost group of people to the most powerful empire in the Americas. Let's start. The Aztecs lived in the middle of Mexico. They were there from around 1300 to 1521. That is more than 200 years. Now, all this is important. The Aztecs were not one group of people. Think of it like Europe today. Many countries, many languages, but one big system. The Aztec world was made of city-states. What is a city-state? It is a city that is also like a country. It has its own leader, its own army, its own rules. The Aztec word for city-state was Altepetl. Some city-states worked together. They helped each other. They became stronger together. In the end, 3 city-states became the most important. Their names were Tenochtitlan, Texcoco, and Tlacopan. Together they made the Aztec Triple Alliance. That is a very serious name. They were truly very serious people. The most powerful city was Tenochtitlan. It was the capital, the center of everything. It was built on an island in the middle of a lake, Lake Texcoco. Building a city on an island in a lake is a big decision. Most people would say, no thank you, I want land. The Aztecs said, this is exactly the place. And you know what? It worked. At its best, Tenochtitlan had about 200,000 people. That made it one of the biggest cities in the world at that time, bigger than most cities in Europe. The empire also grew very big. It went from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. It covered parts of Mexico, Guatemala, and more. But then, in 1521, something happened. Something that changed everything. We will get there. Be patient. Here is a fun fact. The Aztecs did not call themselves Aztecs. Interesting, right? The word Aztec comes from the Nahuatl language. Nahuatl was the language these people spoke. In Nahuatl, Aztecatl means people from Aztlan. So what is Aztlan? It is a place from a story, a place from a legend, like a beautiful home in the north where these people believed they came from. We do not know where Aztlan was. Maybe it was not a real place, but this story was very important to them. It told them, we come from somewhere special. Now, the people we call the Aztecs called themselves the Mexica. Does that sound like something you know? Yes, Mexico comes from Mexica. So the Aztecs gave their name to a whole country. Not bad for a group that started with nothing. So where did the word Aztec come from? A German man named Alexander von Humboldt made it popular in 1810. He used it as one word for all these people and their world. The name stayed. The Aztecs themselves never used it, but we still use it today. Think about that. We call them by a name they never chose. History has many moments like this. Now, the history. This is where it gets really good. This is a story about walking a long road, about hard times, and about building something great from nothing. Let's go back to the very beginning. The Mexica, the people we now call Aztecs, did not start in central Mexico. They came from the north. They were nomads. Nomads are people who move from place to place. They do not stay in one home. Historians think these people came from northwest Mexico. Around the year 500 it became very dry there. There was not enough food, not enough water, so they moved south. They went into the Valley of Mexico. This was a place with many cities, many people, many gods. The Mexica met these people, they lived with them, they learned from them. Slowly they built their own way of life. By the year 900, some cities in this area were becoming strong. Cities like Tula, Tenayuca, and Colhuacan. The story was starting, but the Mexica, the future Aztecs, were not there yet. The Mexica made a long journey south. They walked with other groups of people. They all came from the same starting place, Aztlan. And then came the legend, the most famous story in Aztec history. In the year 1323, the Mexica saw something, a vision. They saw an eagle. The eagle sat on a cactus, and it was eating a snake. This was a sign from the gods. This place, the place where they saw this, was where they had to build their city. They found the place. It was a small wet island in Lake Texcoco. Not a great place to build a city, honestly, but the eagle was there, so they built there. The year was around 1325. They called the city Tenochtitlan. Now, look at the Mexican flag today. You will see an eagle on a cactus with a snake. That image comes from this moment. 700 years later, the story is still alive. The year is 1519. The Aztec Empire is at its biggest and strongest. It goes from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. Millions of people live under its control. And then ships come to the coast. Ships the Mexica have never seen. Men in metal clothes get off the ships. Their leader's name is Hernán Cortés. He is a Spanish soldier, a conqueror. He came from Cuba. He came to find gold. He did not plan to destroy an empire. But that is what happened. Cortés was smart. He did not fight alone. Many cities did not like the Aztecs. Remember all those taxes, all those rules. Many people were tired of Tenochtitlan. Cortés made friends with these cities, especially the Tlaxcalteca, a strong people that the Aztecs never controlled. Together they all walked toward Tenochtitlan. What came next was a long, hard fight. By 1521, after many months of fighting, stopping the city's food and water, Tenochtitlan fell. August 13th, 1521, the last Aztec emperor, Cuauhtémoc, was caught. The most powerful empire in the Americas was gone. The Spanish built a new city on top of the old one. They called it Mexico City. It is still there today. It is still the capital of Mexico. In a way, the old city is still under our feet, under every road, under every building. Tenochtitlan is there, just hidden under a modern city. You might ask, how do we know all this? The Aztecs had no internet. They did not write Wikipedia pages, so how? There are a few ways. First, we dig. Workers find old things in the ground, buildings, tools, bones. In Mexico City, workers found the Templo Maya, the great temple of the Aztecs, right in the middle of the modern city. Second, the Aztecs had books made of pictures and symbols. We call them codices, like a very detailed picture book. Third, Spanish soldiers wrote about what they saw. One famous writer was Bernal Diaz del Castillo. He was a soldier. He wrote a full story of the fight. He said Tenochtitlan was the most beautiful city he had ever seen. Fourth, a very important book called the Florentine Codex. A Spanish monk named Bernardino de Sahagún worked together with Aztec people. Together they wrote 12 books about Aztec life. In 2 languages, Spanish and Nahuatl. It covered food, religion, animals, history, and more. A monk and an Aztec elder sitting together writing everything down. And that is a wonderful picture. Thanks to all of this, we know a lot. Not everything. Some things are still a mystery, but enough to tell this story. So, what did we learn today? The Aztecs were many different groups of people. They spoke Nahuatl. They lived in city-states. They built a great empire, the Triple Alliance, and with Tenochtitlan at the center. They started with nothing, sent away, not wanted, living on a wet island in a lake, and they built one of the greatest empires in all of human history. Then, in 1521, the Spanish came, and in 2 years the empire was gone. But the Aztecs did not disappear. Their language, Nahuatl, is still spoken today by more than 1 million people in Mexico. Their art, their calendar, their stories, all still alive. And Mexico City, built on top of Tenochtitlan, is home to 22 million people today. The empire ended, but the story did not. Thank you for watching, and thank you for practicing your English with us today.